Hello again. We'll take a look here at Psalm 5. It seems like we haven't really gotten out of the first 10 chapters or the first 10 Psalms that David wrote, but there's a reason for that. David hits in those first several Psalms just some themes that will recur again and again in Psalms. Very, very important to him. So let's take a look at Psalm 5. Let me share my screen with you. And then we will go to Bible Gateway and pull up Psalm 5. And we'll just plunk it down here. There we are. Great. And let's start working our way through this psalm. As you can see, the psalm starts out with David talking about crying to God. Listen to my cry for help. Listen to my voice in the morning. And then each morning I bring my requests to you. There we go. It's not doing what I wanted to do. After that opening barrage of David saying, Lord, hear me, he then gets into the content of what it is that he's saying. Oh God, you take no pleasure in wickedness. You can't tolerate the sins of the wicked. Therefore, the proud may not stand in your presence, for you hate all who do evil. You'll destroy those who tell lies. The Lord detests murderers and deceivers. So we have two stanzas here. The first one, David says, listen to my cry. Oh God. The second is part of his cry, where he says, you hate the wicked. Who lie, murder, and deceive. We're just taking some of the verbs from the second part here. Lie, murder, deceive. And then we get this. Because of your unfailing love, I can enter your house. I'll worship at your temple with deepest awe. Lead me in the right path, O Lord, or my enemies will conquer me. Make your way plain for me to follow. And then he does say something new. But here in 7 and 8, because of your unfailing love. I believe me. And that kind of summarizes the second part of what he says here. I can enter your house, I'll worship. Lead me in the right path. Make your way plain for me to follow. And then he goes back to talking about the wicked. My enemies can't speak a truthful word. Their deepest desire is to destroy. Their talk is foul. Their tongues are filled with flattery. Oh God, declare them guilty. Let them be caught in their own traps. Drive them away because of their many sins, for they've rebelled against you. So here in the fourth section, David says, drive away those who rebel against you. And then he finishes, but Let all who take refuge in you rejoice. Let them sing joyful praises forever. Speak your protection over them, that all who love your name may be filled with joy. For you bless the godly. You surround them with your shield of love. So in that fifth part here, what David says is, take refuge in you. Now, I really want to notice two things here about this psalm. First of all is what is mentioned up here in verse 7, 5:7. Everything starts with God's mercy. We commonly distinguish between the Old and New Testament, saying the Old Testament is a salvation by works. New Testament is salvation by grace. That is not true at all. The Old Testament is equally dependent on God's mercy, God's grace. Not only here, but later in Psalm 6, I just want to look at one verse here, and that is down here in verse 4. Return, O Lord, and rescue me. Save me because of your unfailing love. Again, in 6:4, we get that statement. Everything starts with God's mercy. The Old Testament, as well as the New Testament, talks about God's mercy. The second thing that I want to mention is what David says here, especially in the last verses. Let those who take refuge in you rejoice. All who love your name. God blesses and shows his mercy to those who take refuge in you. And those who love your name. That's verse 11, both of those. If we go back up in the rest of the psalm and just look for the statements of what who God blesses, notice this. I pray to no one but you. I bring my requests to you. When he talks about the wicked, he does talk about their sins, their activity. Those who do evil, they tell lies, they're murderers, deceivers. But I will worship at your temple. And that's verse 7. See if there's anything else up here. And it looks like there's not. Look at the people that God blesses. They take refuge in him. They love his name. They bring their requests to God. They worship at God's temple. Notice what it is that David is saying. It's those who are in a relationship with God. And so in Psalm 5, David says, the important thing is in a relationship with God and depend on his mercy. Salvation is not necessarily, not primarily given to those who do the right things. It's those who seek God Now, they will do the right things because they have sought God. They are not in the relationship because they've done the right things. They do the right things because they have sought that relationship with God. Just like in the New Testament, everything starts with God's mercy. And what we need to do is to be in that relationship with God.